This is the NOMADIC podcast. I'm gonna be your host. My name is Grayson Taylor. This is the podcast for friends and future family.
Right on.
Man, I'm really excited about where this podcast is going. It's all about the growth mindset, personal development, and I'm just trying to learn as much as some of you guys are. So I'm really excited about today's guest today. This is somebody that means a lot to me. This is Geoff Hoover. Won multiple national sales championship competitions. Sorry, stumbling on my words a little bit there. That's a hard one to say. It's probably a pretty big plaque, though. He has 4 boys that he just fights for every single day, that he loves more than anything. Has a heart to really impact. He can take somebody from nothing and help them get to see what their full potential is and get them to be something. And I'm really excited to ask you some questions and dig into some things. I mean, you're somebody who's grinding, always reading, always in audios, somebody who's just trying to learn from everybody you possibly can. You always say, I'm the best student, even though you've amassed some pretty amazing things. So I really want to start off with the way that society is conditioned. I think we've been conditioned that, you can get promoted from mediocrity. I can be mediocre at my job and I can still get promoted, right? And I am conditioned to be told what to do by somebody else's boss, like my boss. And I'm conditioned to listen to what people are saying about me, and I'm determined by a paycheck. How do you get away from some of those, I guess we're kind of brainwashed, it's kind of a hard thing to say, but getting those conditions of settling in mediocrity?
Well, I think the most important thing you can do is you got to get around guys that have a totally different mindset. I think you are who you hang out with. So, in life, what I try to strategically do in my lifetime, and by all means, I was not confident. I was very shy. I was very introverted. This kind of thing scared the living you-know-what out of me. But one thing I saw in people that were very successful is they had, a different brand of people that they were around, and they tended to become like them. And so what I tried to do is I tried to surround myself with people that thought a little bit differently. And by all stretch of the imagination, I'm doing pretty good, compared to all the average Joes out there. But I always have a guy that stretches me way further than I could possibly imagine. And this is something that I had a coach that taught me, many years ago, to actually find someone that stretches you so that you could succeed and you could develop a different mindset than people that are just, going to their everyday job. Does it mean you shouldn't be successful at your job? No, you should. You should try to be the best at everything that you do. But there is a life outside of that life. There is a way that you can develop your mindset and you can stretch. My philosophy is you become great between 5 p.m. and 2 a.m. Okay?
Yeah, I like that.
So that's when the study is on for me. That's what I call the grind. That's when I'm digging in on books. I'm digging in on podcasts, kind of like this. I'm watching videos, and then I'm getting together with my coach and kind of digging in on strategies on how I can be better. So these are the types of things that I try to do because I want to leave this indelible footprint for these 4 beautiful men that I'm, growing. So that's the main focus for me.
So one thing I think you taught me very early on is eliminate the excuses from your life, right? So if I feel like I couldn't drive an hour to do this podcast tonight because maybe I had a crappy car, eliminate that. Get a better car, right? Or if you don't think you have enough information and you're not a good public speaker, read some books, get some audios, right? If you don't think you make enough money, seek more money, seek more opportunity, get that better job, get that promotion. So how is that important to eliminate excuses from your life, and how do you do that? What are some key steps you have?
Gosh, it's what a great question. First of all, I think excuses are really the dilemma that everybody has, because everybody has an excuse about something or another, but you have to catch yourself. The only thing I can tell you is examples in my life and how I overcame those examples. But thank God I had a coach. I had somebody kind of coaching me up in these areas. I can remember many years ago I started my agency, okay? And I was starting to begin to make some breakthrough in my advertising agency. I was starting to progress and see things really, come together. And I'm in Washington. I had a potential client all the way, over in New York. And so I'm thinking, I'm going to fork up some change to go see this client.
Yeah, right.
And I'm not exactly a multimillionaire, so I'm kind of stretching myself. I remember calling one of my business partners and associates that I've been taking coaching from over the last, many years, and I asked him about this, and it's something I never forgotten. In fact, I talked about this today. I asked him, I said, do you think I should come up with the money to go there, not really knowing what the results are going to be, right? Because you don't really know.
Yeah.
So most people in their mind, they're going, nah, forget about it. I can't afford it. I'll get back to it later. There might not be a later. That's the whole point.
Right.
Okay, so one thing he said to me, I never forgot. He said, don't ever let money get in the way of your success. Okay, so I paid for that plane flight. Right. And it taught me two things. One, I'm always going to go the extra mile. And I think because I've always thought that way, I've always managed to get out of struggles. I've always managed to pop over speed bumps in life because I've been willing to go the extra mile when it didn't seem like I had anything left in my tank. So, could I have excuses? Of course, I've had excuses, but you really have to be aware of what's coming out of your mouth, and you got to be aware of your circumstances. Are you going to sit there, or are you going to let that determine your success?
Right. No, I mean, I feel sometimes people just get stuck. They just get stuck in that mindset of, man, why me? Why me, man? If you really knew me, you wouldn't like me. I'm just settling. How do you keep yourself from settling in life? And not, because you achieved some great things, and you kept getting to the next level because in your mind the next level was tangible. And to some people, the next level isn't tangible. They don't believe that they can do it. How do you get that belief system to always strive for the next level and quit thinking about having small dreams and have bigger dreams?
Yeah, I think, when you really think about it, okay, some people have this ginormous goal and it scares the living crap out of them, okay? Right. But life is a stair step, okay? It's a process of steps to get to the final goal. And I think sometimes people's dream is up here and they don't have a stair step to get to it. Okay, so whatever it is. If your goal is to be a multimillionaire, which maybe you're in your 20s and that's your goal, it's not necessarily my goal today, but it has been my goal. Okay, and so if that's the goal, then maybe that's just such a big goal and you're wondering, how am I going to get there? Okay, you have to have little baby steps. You have to have little stair steps that give yourself rewards along the way. And it could be, I'm going to be consistent with my study habit for 30 days and then 60 days and then 90 days. And then I'm going to elevate to how many books am I going to read? Okay. Then maybe I'm going to elevate to how many people am I going to stretch out to and talk to? These are all stair steps. But what happens is a fascination, okay, of uncovering what success really is. You start stair stepping through these and you start going, wow, I've become somebody better. I've become somebody that's marketable to the public. Okay, I have branded myself because of this insane work habit that has stair stepped my success. Okay, and I think this is where most people they lose it because they set things too big. I asked my coach many times, well, what happens? Because this tends to be a barrier in a lot of people's lives. They come up to this barrier that they've been to 1,000 times, okay, and said, how do I overcome this? How do I overcome this? And he always used to tell me, you have to get close to the barrier so that you can feel it and touch it. And then when you break through it, you'll never look behind. But most people only get close to it once and then they give up and throw in the towel.
Right.
But you've got to keep getting up to that barrier until it's not scary to you. Like if speaking is scary to you, guess what you have to do? Speak.
Do it.
Right? If you're going to have a fear in life, which there's a lot of things that are fears. I think procrastination is a fear. You got to take action on that fear or else you're never, ever going to conquer that fear. Fear is just, we've heard the cliche, false evidence appearing real.
Right,
okay?
Right.
That's a cliche but it's true. It's not real, especially when you attack it. Okay, when you attack fear, then it's not real. Then you start thinking, why was I so scared of that? This is becoming the most powerful part of my life now.
Right.
That makes sense?
That's so awesome. I kind of want to shift gears a little bit because as you guys can tell, he's a very, very big speaker. And if you see him in public, it's just like, what's up, bro? How you doing? You have some of the best people skills. How did you learn those people skills? And why, There's a lot of people that talk about the million man mandate, 10 to 10 to 10, and you can change the world by impacting, just everybody you see in everyday life. Why is that important to you?
Gosh, I think it's important to me because I was always shy and introverted as a kid. Okay, and I think a lot of people, if you meet me in person, you'll think, no way. Mm-hmm. But I always tell people to go talk to my mother. She knows the truth on that. So.
They all do, right?
I didn't want to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I didn't want to be that guy hurt so bad that I changed exactly what I needed to do. And not only do I make sure that I became that way, but I go into a room with the mentality of serving. Okay, and this is the big difference, I think, with people that are shy or introverted. They care so much about what people think, and I'm talking about myself here. Okay, I cared so much about what people thought that it made me shy and introverted and walk into the corner and not be the guy that raises his hand, not be the guy that says, hey, I'll take the mic, I'll say a few words, at weddings, anybody want to say a word? And I hide, okay?
Okay.
Instead of that, yeah, sure, I'll say a few words. I got a few good things to say about this guy. I think it becomes really important that you understand that you're here on this planet for a reason, okay?
Right.
I have a strong faith. I'm a Christian. I'm not going to promote that or anything, but I believe that God doesn't make any junk. And if he doesn't make any junk, that means that you're unique and special. That means you have something to give. Mm-hmm. You have something to impart to this world. So if you're coming into a situation, you're so shy, okay, you're thinking about yourself. It's all on you. Mm-hmm. Okay, you got to take yourself out of that equation. Maybe this guy, like yourself, needs a, hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Right.
How are things, Right. And that guy needs his spirit lifted to know that he could be that way. The only way you teach people sometimes is how you walk in life, okay? And how you are in life. It's not necessarily out of a book, okay? They watch you. They learn from you, your presence. I learn from some guy learns from me, right? That's a part of it.
That's so awesome. I mean, some people, this is kind of a great segue because I know there's a lot of people out there that might be watching this, and I know myself. We have friends that are in seasons where they're down, they're in a drought, and they don't know how they can get out of it. And you're really, really good at taking somebody when they don't believe in themselves and believing them so much that they start to believe in themselves more and more and more and more. Just expediting that process of potential in somebody's life. What are the barriers that you go through, and why do you take the time to help somebody when they're so down? And you just see so much in them, and you just want to help them. Why do you take the time to do that, and why is that important to you? Because you do it almost every day.
Well, I mean, it comes right back down to my faith in my God,
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but, the fact of the matter is I could care less about people before I, knew who my Father in heaven was, okay? But here's I guess if you want to break it down into 1 + 1 = 2, okay? First of all, people need a safe house. They need a safe place, right? And you can provide that. How do you provide that? By being transparent yourself, okay? We all have things that we weren't good at. We all have things that we're a total louse at. You got to be okay with talking to somebody about that, okay? Maybe you drank too much. Maybe you swear too much, okay? Maybe you have anger fits. Maybe you're just a louse of a father. I don't know. But my whole point is, do you want to be that way forever? And the fact is you don't, then you are a great, you're on a podium now where you can create a safe house for other people to be okay with sharing their story. And somebody always has something they want to say, okay? And you just have to talk to them in the right way that they feel safe. I'll give you kind of an example on this exact subject. It's a great story. I don't know, about 3 years ago, I was driving Uber and Lyft, and I noticed a person who was coming into my car. And you know how you have somebody come up to you, and you can just tell there's this little dark cloud around them?
Right.
So this lady was coming up this hill, and I could tell there was a dark cloud around her. And she just looked like she had the weight of the world upon her shoulders, man. I felt something very deep. And so as soon as she came into the car, She shut the door and I put the car in park instead of going, saying, okay, take you to the next location. I turned around and I said, I put my hand on her arm and I said, are you okay? And she started to cry. Okay? Why? Because someone cared enough to notice. Now, how many hundreds of people came into her life and saw this dark cloud and went, my life is more important. Okay? Now, she went on to explain to me all these, crazy challenges weren't any different than all of our challenges. And I thought, how is this person this way? And the problem is we just don't take notice, do we? We go through our whole lives and we don't even take notice of someone's pain. And so because I did, she was allowed to set herself free and go on and probably have a very happy day. Because sometimes people, all they need is just an ear. They just need somebody to listen. And that's how you take someone from nothing and you build them up into something, right?
What you get is what you give in this world. But when you give positivity, when you sow positive acts, you get tenfold.
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty amazing. I want to hear from you because you're very, very, very successful salesman and very successful business owner. How does somebody start? How does somebody start in that path of like, man, I have an idea. I have something that I believe in. I think I can get this to go somewhere. I see some potential in it. How do you take your business from just an idea into a very, very, maybe $1 million business, maybe not, whatever it may have been. How do you take that business, your first business, and from idea to something relevant?
Well, I think the main thing is before you even start off, okay, you have to have a mentality, I'm not going to give up. Okay? You have to have this mentality. Fail, not fail, struggle, not fight, all of this stuff, you have to keep getting up. Okay? You don't know how close you are to winning.
Yeah.
Okay? Especially when you're losing and you feel like a loser and you feel like it's one of these sayings that everything today turns to gold, but sometimes everything turns to mud. Doesn't it?
Right.
Like this is life. I mean, this is all part of growing. Successful business, gosh, the guy that keeps getting up, that's the guy who's going to make it all the time. And there's literally thousands of books written on it, and I've read a lot of them. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So if there's any advice, and I asked my uncle, who was my mentor and a rich man at the time, when I asked him, I said, how did you not go bankrupt? And he said, I almost went bankrupt twice. I said, what'd you do? You know what he said? I didn't give up.
Woo, that's it.
I got back up. And it's such a simple thing.
Right.
Winston Churchill said, do not give up, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole point is, in business, in life, in marriage, in all of these things, with your kids, in family, all of it relates to this. Get back up again and start swinging for the fences. Life's not like baseball, 9 innings and you're out. As long as you're swinging, okay, you still have the ability to hit a home run, okay?
That's awesome. That is awesome. I kind of want to talk about something that really impacted me. You brought it up to me a couple months ago, because I counsel with you on business. You're somebody that I really look up to. So whenever I can pick your brain, I do. And one of the things that really sparked me was the 5 pillars. 5 pillars of things that might bring you down. And can you share that with the audience a little bit? What do the 5 pillars mean, and what is that?
Well, I call it the pillar killers, okay? Because we all have. I invented 5. I have my 5. You probably have your 5. What does it mean? Well, whatever it is you're struggling with. It could be watching television at midnight, okay? Instead of turning the TV off, okay? And pulling out a book and reading. It could be the second you wake up, dialing in and doing 3 things within 20 minutes to get your day kicked off. Okay? Maybe you're kind of a sloth in bed. Maybe you're unorganized and you clutter all your clothes everywhere, but it eats at you.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a pillar killer. What do pillar killers do in your life? They decrease your self-confidence. They decrease your self-worth. You start walking around sheepishly, like you're not unique and special, that you're not powerful beyond measure, right? That's what these things do. So you have to set a precedence. First of all, identifying what those pillar killers are, okay? And I know what mine are. I'm not going to get into
Yeah.
mine, okay?
Yeah.
Very personal to me. And if you know me well enough, you'll hear the pillar killers, but you'll all know what I'm talking about, okay? It's some kind of an addiction, some type of thing that's going on in your life that is keeping you from being the best you could possibly be. And if you could just knock it out, right? The rest is gravy. Am I correct? Okay, so the pillar killers have to be sense, number one. Number two, you have to identify something that can replace that pillar killer. Okay, let me give you an example.
Please.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I had something that was taking me down the wrong path, okay, I replaced it with something constructive, like playing guitar.
Okay.
Okay,
I know.
like reading. Maybe late at night, I get into everything I shouldn't get into. Okay,
Right,
when
yeah.
the midnight rolls around and no one's looking and the door is closed, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your habit? How can you create a habit, right, that replaces a habit? Okay, there's no such thing as good and bad habits. Okay, there's just habits. Okay, you need to create a habit that's constructive instead of destructive. Okay, and stop beating yourself up and saying and giving yourself this guilt and shame the rest of your life. Oh my God, I'm such a louse. I'm such a dirty, perverted mind. Okay,
Right.
or whatever it is. Okay, this needs to stop. You just need to create different habits that are super constructive. Okay, and that erases pillar killers in your life.
All right, guys. I think he was spitting too much fire. I ran out of storage on my phone, and we got a little carried away. We only got 10 minutes left, so I want to get right back into what we were talking about is morning routines. You're somebody who I always heard that when you drag yourself out of bed, you drag yourself throughout the rest of the day, and the start of your day is the most important part of your day. So, what does the start of your day for you? What do some of your morning routines look like, and why is it so important?
Well, God, it's a huge importance. I feel like I've said this for the second time because this is the second time I've said it. Anyways, right on. We're being warriors tonight. So, anyways, I will say this, that it has become the most important part of my day. Okay, before my feet hit the floor, my goal is to accomplish 3 things. Okay. So all too often I find myself, my little procrastination zone is my warm pillow. And because I know as soon as my feet actually hit the floor, I have to perform in 20 minutes. People say, that's kind of intense. Well, what's the alternative? Not progressing, not stretching yourself, not trying to become awesome.
Right.
That is the alternative in life, right? So I'd rather challenge myself. And so as soon as my feet hit the floor, I'm like, okay, what are my 3 things? All right. So it could be something as simple for me, and I'm just talking about me. Everybody has something different. It could be brushing your teeth, for God's sakes, okay? Which you better be doing that.
Come on.
But I make my bed in the morning, okay? Why do I do that? Because, first of all, I watched a podcast on it one time, and I never forgot it. But there's something about coming into your room and having something accomplished, like having a crisp bed made, okay? And some people think, that's hogwash. Well, maybe it is, but for me, it's not, okay? So that's a thing that no matter how my day goes, my bed's made, okay? That's a simple thing. Number 2, I might do like a core workout, some push-ups, some squats, some pull-ups, just to keep this fantastically gorgeous body in shape, right? And I know he was thinking Greek god, and that's okay,
Make a statue, right?
Oh, man. Anyways, my point is, I get my body going, I get my health going, and then my third goal is something that has to do with business, okay? Whether I'm starting up some conversations, I'm answering, I'm responding to some people, I'm getting the ball rolling. Doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to get going. And that's usually right around the 18-minute mark, I'm jamming on some conversations, okay? After I do that, the rest of my day seems to go well.
Right.
Okay? When I don't do it, I feel like I'm always catching up. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm 10 minutes behind, or I'm a half an hour behind. So it seems like I'm always battling with not enough time. So I can't tell you how many times I've prayed and I've asked God, can you give me 25 hours? Okay.
Yeah, right.
He hasn't answered that prayer yet, so we'll settle that when I get to heaven, I guess.
Right.
So
that's so awesome. And kind of moving more back into the business direction, there's something that you taught me very early on that was rhythms and margins. And you have to take those, and I'll let you kind of dive into what rhythms and margins are and why they're important to kind of give them some more context. But I see that really benefiting your life, and you can impart that. You impart what you are onto your children and on people around you. Rhythms and margins are very, very, very important. And how so, and what are they?
Well, it's great that you're asking this question. I've had this similar conversation with my son, my second son, about his wrestling, and how you can just keep going and going and going and going, and then you just start to burn out. And a rhythm is something that you know you're going to be hitting it, okay, and you're fired up, but you're stretching yourself. You're getting yourself to the point where you're like, I'm starting to burn out. If you don't have a reward at the end of that rainbow, a little margin time, then what are you working for? More burnout? When you're burned out, you're not better, okay? You're worse, all right? And I want to be Superman, okay? So the way I can become Superman is when I'm rested. All of the knights of the round table have to put their shields down at some point, and we have to gather and relax until we're ready for battle again, okay? Mm-hmm. And this is something that my coach taught me. Rhythms, on point with purpose when you're not jamming, but you're kind of on point with purpose, but you're still accomplishing other things. And then you have areas where you're on rhythm, and that's what you do. You become so focused that everything else in your life is out of focus. Then you have some margin time. Right. My margin time is sleep, okay? Because I'm jamming. I'm jamming from the second I get up to midnight, sometimes 2 a.m. That's what I call a good day. And when you have that mentality, you need to kind of figure out what is going to fill your cup. I figured out sleep fills my cup. If I take a little 2-day, run somewhere, catch a plane somewhere. If you can't afford a plane, then get in your car and go grab a tent or go sleep on the beach. Do whatever you got to do. Turn your phone off. Get away from business in itself and recuperate, and learn how to enjoy the moment of life. So many people don't smell the roses. They're too busy being busy and trying to accomplish great things. And that's all. I got mad respect for that. But when you sit back and you go, you know what? I really enjoy where I'm at right now. I really am living in the presence instead of, oh my gosh, I got to get this goal. So I'm so unhappy with my presence. Mm-hmm. This is rhythms and margins. Okay? Had I not had my coach teach me this, I'd probably be so burned out on every single thing I did. So learn from me what he taught me to teach you, and what I'm teaching, out there. So
right on, guys. I want to end with this one. I love to ask this question at the end of my podcast with my guests. What is your message? Maybe somebody is out there. We might have 100 people, maybe 1 million. I don't know. Dream big. Maybe only 10. I don't really care. I'm trying to learn as much as they are here. And what is your message to the world? What is your message to somebody who just, man, they have something. They don't know if they can make it happen. They don't know if they believe in themselves. What's your message to those people?
Yeah, if I could write a book, it'd be titled Labels. Okay? Yeah. Because I grew up with certain labeling in my life, and we all kind of did, okay? You're selfish, you're snotty, you're I don't know, pain in the rear, you have too much anger, whatever it is. You've been labeled a certain way. And that labeling, over time, you actually start to believe it, okay? It decreases your self-worth, decreases your self-image, okay? You become a person who's not powerful beyond measure because you start to believe what all these voices have taught you over the year, okay? If there's one thing I could teach you because I lived it, is you have to do something about it to overcome it, which means this powerful tongue that you have, you can become hung by it in a negative way and also a positive way. It controls everything that you do, what comes out of your mouth. So if you've been told your whole life you're selfish, every time we turn around you're always grabbing, taking, okay? Some people have gone their whole lives this way. Then you need to create a powerful force in the opposite direction, okay? Right. Which is, I'm a giver. I'm a lover of people. I always go the extra mile. I listen to what people say, and I do exactly, what I'm supposed to do. You got to create powerful, measurable confessions that really increase your self-worth. You'll be proud of yourself, right? All right? Write it down on the mirror. I've told this guy a million times. Write it down on the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but something about hearing your inner voice talk to yourself, go in your ear and sink in. Okay? You want to stop being that shy little introvert, person that everybody labeled you. Oh my gosh, you're so shy. And then all of a sudden you start believing them sitting in the corner. No, you don't have to. Okay? You can be powerful beyond measure. You have to speak it, talk it, walk it, and it takes sometimes years to break that code so that it's not a code in your life, okay? Your code is excellence. Your code is powerful. And now you've changed. Now you can be a giver. Now you can have, significance. You went from, wherever you were starving over here to successful, and all of a sudden you're in significant mode and eventually become a sage and teach something great to someone else.
Right on, man. Geoff Hoover.
Right on, buddy.
I love you guys. I love you, man. Once again, I hope you guys have learned something today. That's what my goal is. Something maybe taking a little bit away, maybe got a little nugget, something that you can run with, and I hope you act on that. I hope you really act on that, because this guy it's been a pleasure. And this was the Nomadic Podcast. I'm your host, Grayson Taylor, and this is your guest, Geoff Hoover.
Right on,
buddy. I appreciate you.
Peace.